Welcome in, Braves Today. BravesToday.com is where you are located. He is Lindsay Crosby. Look at what's behind him. That says winter meetings for those of, and no, we didn't have that friggin' made so we could appease some of you to make you guys happy that he was actually going to be there. It's all brought to you by Active Wealth Management. Go to annuity360.net for your free book. And Lindsay, it's already been active since you've been there. And I told you that when we were talking off air, I said, look, the Braves are already making more moves than, say, any other team is right now. And Kelenic is going to be coming to the Braves along with Gonzalez, Evan White. However, the Braves are going to have to give up a few. Let's walk through that trade right now and what the Braves are going to get right now as far as the left fielder is concerned.
Okay, so this trade broke on Sunday night, and fun fact, I actually had just fallen asleep, so I had to wake back up and get out of bed to write all this up for BravesToday.com. But no, so the Atlanta Braves sent 2 players out, got 3 players back. You get a left fielder in Jared Kelenic.
Yep.
You get a left-handed pitcher, Marco Gonzalez, and you get a first baseman in Evan White. Now, this was mostly a salary dump for Seattle. Marco Gonzalez was owed $12.5 million. Reports came out on Monday afternoon that Atlanta's not planning on keeping him. They're either going to turn around and move him in a trade, or worst case scenario, you just eat the money and let him move on. Evan White owed about $7 or $8 million. Not sure whether or not he's going to make the 26-man roster or if he's going to be in the minors next year. But the big star of this piece, the reason you took on all that money is to get Jared Kelenic. Draft pick of the Mets was moved in the Robinson Cano and Edwin Diaz deal to Seattle, and 2 years really kind of struggled in 21 and 22, finally broke out offensively in 2023 with regular play time. Had a WRC plus of like 110, has played left field, has played center field, has played right field. And so you get him. He doesn't go to arbitration until 2025, and he's not a free agent until, I believe, 2028. So you have 4 or 5 years of Jared Kelenic in exchange for taking on the money from Marco Gonzalez, who, again, is probably not going to stay with the Braves, and Evan White, who may or may not make the active roster, maybe in AAA as a depth piece at your corner infield spots. And then you did give up some pieces, right? You gave up Jackson Kowar, who you got from the Royals just a couple weeks ago when you traded Kyle Wright. And you gave up Cole Phillips, 2022 second-round pick. Baseball America kind of controversially said today that when the top 30 comes out, he wasn't even going to be on the top 30. He had Tommy John surgery in April of 2022 of his draft year and had looked really good at showcases prior to being drafted. He hit 99 on the fastball. The slider had tons of spin, but we haven't seen him pitch in a professional game since getting drafted. He didn't pitch, obviously, in 22 after the surgery. He didn't pitch in games last year either. Tommy John is an 18 to 24 month thing. Sometimes it's closer to 24 than it is to 18. So you give up a pitcher who has never pitched for you in the minors. You give up Jackson Kowar, you got him for Kyle Wright. So you give up a pitcher who won't pitch, who wouldn't have pitched for you until 2025. And in return, because you were willing to accept some salary, you get 4 or 5 years of a former top prospect outfielder who can produce with the bat, can give you defensive versatility, play all 3 positions. It's a really smart deal by Atlanta. A lot of the reaction here, the first initial reaction was, wait, that's it? And then the second reaction was, why didn't my team do this? And this is something where, because Atlanta has so many long-term contracts, they know exactly what they're paying in upcoming years. And because they have so many positions locked up long-term, you can afford to take a chance like this on a former top prospect to see if he could ever hit those expectations that they had for him when he was initially drafted. It's a fantastic move by Atlanta, kind of a head-scratching move by Seattle because they shed a bunch of salary and haven't done anything with it. And ultimately, really the only major move we've seen of these winter meetings so far.
You know what? It's funny that you say that, a head-scratching move by Seattle, because while you guys have been hanging out and high rolling with the big rollers there at the winter meetings in Nashville, Tennessee, and us plebes have been sitting behind a computer and just searching the various message boards and articles, Seattle fans are ticked off that this took place, which lets me know that Atlanta got a good deal because they are upset that Kelenic is headed out. I think because, first off, picked overall number 6 in 2018. And so you got a high draft pick that, again, Atlanta's able to walk away and steal. And it comes across as that AA pick, that it was somebody that may not have been happy where they were. And he swooped in, threw the red carpet out, and said, "Come on down."
It's funny you said he may not be happy. He made one of those Instagram posts saying goodbye on Monday, and he mentioned everybody except for the Seattle Mariners. He mentioned his teammates. He mentioned going to Atlanta, the fans. Never once said Seattle Mariners. And so there is a little bit of belief that he wasn't happy there. He's also has a bit of a reputation for being a little bit emotional. He missed some time last year. He missed about 2 months from July till mid-September because he got angry after a strikeout and kicked a cooler in the dugout and broke his toe. So
I remember that. Yeah, that was him.
He's not a completely finished product, right? WRC plus of 110, but struck out over 30% of the time, showed a significant weakness for both off speed and spin. So Kevin Seitzer, Chipper Jones have some work to do with him, but this is absolutely something. Again, Atlanta is one of the few teams that has the runway to see if they can make this work because they have so much other product. I mean, this was the best offense in baseball by far last year. Jerry Kelenic, whether he hits 2 home runs next year or 30, Atlanta's still going to win at least 95 games, still going to be in the postseason. It doesn't matter if he's on the roster batting 6th or if he gets DFA'd in August.
Wow, it's an amazing get, and something that AA has done. And he's done it here at the winter meetings, which we'll get to AA here in a little bit. I do need to get to Ford because he has taken care of us. Ford Stokes, a fiduciary and sound financial advisor, also contributor to Forbes.com. Don't confuse Ford with Forbes because that's different. He just writes for them. He puts the articles out there. You read them, you save money, you actually make money. Writes articles for Forbes, does the author of Annuity 360, and wants to give you that free book that we keep talking about. All you got to do is go to annuity360.net for your free book. It's Active Wealth Management. Tell Ford we said hello. Proud sponsors of Braves Today, bravestoday.com, and making it possible for guys like Lindsay and Zach to be at the winter meetings that are in Nashville, Tennessee. Speaking of winter meetings, as Lindsay, I got to ask you, how much fun has it been? Walk us through kind of the activities of everything that's been going on thus far, because did y'all have a big night last night? Is that why you were already in the bed on Sunday night, or is it because you actually worked hard?
I'm going to say we actually did work hard. No, the funny thing about the winter meetings is you're not actually invited to the meetings. All of the actual meetings are MLB personnel and the media can't go to it, right? But we have a giant workroom that we work out of. Right outside of it is, I'm going to call it Television Row, and it's MLB Network, it's SNY. It's all of the different television networks have their sets up, and they have guests coming in and out. Sirius XM Radio is there, MLB Network Radio is there. And so it's a lot of, you run into people randomly, you'll turn a corner, here's somebody's agent there, or you'll see a player, you'll see a job seeker. A lot of talking to other media, finding out what they have heard, sharing what you have heard. And then starting today and tomorrow is all of the designated availabilities with the different managers. So I got a chance to sit in today, listen to Troy Lavulo, Arizona Diamondbacks, talk about winning the NL pennant. I got a chance to sit and visit with Ron Washington, listen to him talk about leaving Atlanta, going to Los Angeles. Actually had some great little stories and anecdotes about Ozzie Albies, what he said to him and how that's going to go. We wrote all that up. It's on bravestoday.com. If you want to watch that, bravestoday.com. If you want to watch that entire press conference, it's on our YouTube channel. You can watch the entire Ron Washington press conference. Just really cool stuff there. Got a chance to sit in on Jim Leland's press conference after he was elected to the Hall of Fame on Sunday. So a lot of press conferences, a lot of informal availabilities. We met some people from some different teams. I got a chance to walk up to Dave Roberts, manager of the Dodgers. He was waiting for his chance to go talk and just pulled aside with some media members and just started chatting about stuff. We talked about Mookie Betts and some of the young prospect pitchers. Just a kind of a cool opportunity to run into some of these people. I ran into Tom Verducci on the elevator earlier. Yep. Just a lot of MLB personalities, people that you know. Tomorrow, we're going to get Brian Snitker. We're going to talk to him around noon. We're going to get some time with Alex Anthopoulos around 3:00. Again, we'll write up both of those. Those will be on bravestoday.com. If we're able to take video of Alex Anthopoulos, I don't know about that. We can for Brian Snitker, but either way, that video will be on our YouTube channel as well. So it's just been a lot of going in and out of different scheduled press conferences and then running into people, whether it's reporters, whether it's team personnel that we know. I ran into Franco Garcia, Ronald Acuna's translator, ran into him in the hallway between meetings and chatted with him for a few minutes. Just really cool to be here. Really cool to get a chance to take in all of this stuff from this side of it. And I just real quick want to say thank you to everybody who reads our stories, who shares, who watches the podcast on YouTube, who shares things with their friends. We are able to do this because of you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, it's super awesome. Before I let you go, I got to ask you, Ohtani's name is still being thrown around. I thought that would die down by now. It seems to actually pick up speed. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say something that a lot of Braves fans are going to be really unhappy with right now.
Okay.
At $550 million, I had rather them take that money and go get a bunch of prospects and get a bunch of guys that can fill the shoes of the guys that will be leaving in 3, 4, 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Not Braves. Braves fans want immediate gratification, so they want Ohtani. They want him coming in and hitting 45 to 65 bombs next year, and then the following year averaging probably 6 to 9 Ks per game that he's going to be pitching. Yeah. So I sit in the minority. However, it seems to not be going away, Lindsay.
The Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes is definitely the story right now. Here's the thing. Nobody really knows anything.
No.
They have put, like, from Ohtani's camp, they have put very significant and severe restrictions on what teams can say to the media, what can leak to reporters. And so if anybody says with any sort of certainty what they know about the Shohei Ohtani negotiations, it's probably either hearsay or not true, simply because they've kept this incredibly quiet. Somebody asked Ron Washington if they had spoken to Shohei Ohtani, and he said, "I can't answer that question." I mean, that's how top secret it is. Toronto's general manager did a appearance via Zoom, and he couldn't tell them where he was. Like, that's how secretive this whole process has been. So it's the story of the winter meetings because it hasn't gone away. And it's just, we're all cooped up here. We're all waiting for news. And so people are talking about it as much as they can, but we don't actually know anything. Nobody knows anything about this. And that's kind of weird because baseball doesn't normally work like that. You find things out from reporters, from team personnel, from unnamed sources. In this case, we don't know anything about Shohei. We don't know where he is.
I understand the money is good. I mean, minimum 500 million, looking at around 550. Some have said, could be upwards of close to 600 million before it's all said and done with, depending on who wins the bidding war. He's 30 years old, and he's wasted a few years in Anaheim with the Angels where he's not getting those wins that he would like, which he's used to doing from back home. Is there a chance that he takes less than 500 million to go to a contender? And I'm not just saying Braves. I'm saying Braves, Dodgers, Arizona, somebody that's probably going to be there because he's 30. So they need to be there in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years, or that arm, as great as it is right now, it is going to be surgically repaired. And twice. And so it could fall back. Now, the bat may still be there, but I still don't think the bat speed's going to be there at 35 that it is at 30 years of age.
Yeah. So with the caveat that this is complete speculation, Shohei, don't hold this against me. I do think there's a small possibility because he's not going to be pitching in 2024. It's entirely reasonable to think that there is a world where they have discussed, do we sign a shorter 2 or 3 year deal where he gets a chance to reestablish how good of a pitcher he is, show that for a season, and then re-enter the market and get paid as both a 2-time MVP DH and a potential ace on your rotation. Now, I don't necessarily think that's likely. When you ask me, is a guy going to take 500 million or is he going to take 200 million? My instinct is to say he's going to go for the larger number.
Correct.
But at the same time, once you get more than 200 million, it doesn't matter anyway. It's all like, it doesn't, what's the difference in 200 million and 500? Generational rich either way. And so I have to acknowledge there's probably a small possibility, but we have no indications that that's something that they're actually going to do. And that's simply because we have no indications about anything they're going to do. We don't even know his dog's name.
No, I know. Both of it all sounds exciting because he kind of sits in the catbird seat of what he wants to do.
Mhm.
It's going to be up to him. I mean, the thing is if he wants $600 million, somebody's going to give it to him.
Oh yeah.
And I said to a buddy of mine today, he goes, "Do you think there's a chance we can get him?" I said, "You know what? Give him the Bobby Bonilla deal. Let's pay him all the way. Let's pay him to the year 3000. Just let him keep getting money, and we'll be
I
more than happy to give it to him."
I jokingly said in the media room today, I wonder what the first team is that just offers him a cut of whatever sponsorship money comes in after they sign him. And
Mhm.
somebody had to like clarify that MLB has actually said you can't do that, because it's come up before where people were like, what if we just give him a cut of whatever money sponsorship money the team makes like when he's here? And they had to clarify, you can't give ownership to a player, you can't give partial ownership, you can't give a floating revenue shared number like that to a player. That's not an acceptable policy. But that kind of shows you how creative some teams and some reporters and writers are getting and trying to find a way for their team to get Ohtani. Is they're thinking of everything under the sun to make sure their team is still in the running for Shohei.
Well, and I knew you couldn't do that. I was told that a while
Yeah.
back before. However, my question was, and nobody's been able to answer this: is it negotiable the percentages he makes on jersey sales? I do
Uh,
wonder that.
I believe that is not the monies that are made for merchandise sales actually go to the Players Association, and
Okay.
then they distribute those. So you don't get the direct amount from what your jersey sold, but you do get a share based on how popular your jersey was. But that money does not go from the team directly to the player. It goes to the Players Association and is then distributed that way. And so I don't think there's a mechanism to pay him directly for that. Although a player could always start their own merchandise line and could sell it that way. Obviously, you run into issues with trying to use the team's licensing for. You
Yeah.
couldn't have a Mariners jersey, but you could have a Seattle jersey
Right.
if you wanted to do something like that. So he could do that, but merchandise for like jersey sales of MLB jerseys would go to the Players Association.
Like all those Acuna shirts that Lindsay and I have that y'all don't get to see from time to time that we just keep kind of hidden away. I will say this: nothing against Atlanta, but it kind of stinks for him because the last two games I've been to, a friend of mine, his wife really wants a Javi Lopez jersey, and they've been out of O's both times, so they're going to have to get that fixed if they end up getting Ohtani. So they better figure that out.
Lots of O's, lots of T's.
Exactly. So, Lindsay, have fun, man. Tell Zach we said hello. I'm looking forward to the content. I love the fact you guys are uploading stuff on YouTube. I mean, I know we got the pod up there. That's probably not quite as exciting as them getting to watch, Snit as well as AA, who you guys, if you're able to film, are going to put up there tomorrow. Looking forward to that. A tease again on that again tomorrow. By the time you guys are able to listen to this pod, you should be later on in the evening at least be able to see Snitker on YouTube. We're hoping that Lindsay and Zach will be able to record Alex Anthopoulos and maybe some questions that he answers, and maybe we'll put some clarity. I doubt it, because if it's Ohtani, we're not going to be told anything, but at least maybe see the plan that it's headed into. Lindsay, as always, I greatly appreciate your time, brother. It's all been brought to you by Active Wealth Management. Go to annuity360.net for your free book today. He's Lindsay Crosby. He's live from the winter meetings. It's our first time. He's so excited. I should be excited. Zach said today, he said, you should have gone with us. I said, I didn't get the invite. Thanks for that, bub. Thanks for rubbing that in. So I need to make sure I got that in
Next
there.
time.
So exactly. Lindsay, as always, thank you, brother.
Thanks, buddy.